Hello, hello, hello. You are tuning into the episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's first topic, the Browns are trying to ruin Shaduer. Look. Guys, I want to make sure that I say this right. Come out pretty clear the way that I do things, say things. Shedeur Sanders has pretty much proven himself to be a consummate pro thus far. And I didn't want him in the AFC North. Why? Because, for one, he has to go up against us. And I always said, for me, I didn't want for him to have to deal with Lamar in the Baltimore Ravens. I wanted him to have success. Sometimes you can still be a good quarterback, and because you have those guys in the same division as you have trouble even making the playoffs, i.e. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. So I didn't want him there. But what we've seen from the Browns, and I want to make sure that I say this, has been nothing short of deplorable. Now, some Raven fans I don't care. I like Shaduer. I really do. I like Dion. And what I've seen has been nothing short of a travesty. And it's not because I like him is why I'm saying. Because if I like you, you just got to work hard, go, earn what you got to earn, do what you got to do, and then we move on. But that hasn't been the case. It's been every single time everyone's talking big about Shaduer, like, oh my God, he's looking amazing. They just come out to try to humble him or tear him down every single time. And sometimes you look at it and you be like, hey, yo, what's their problem? Why is it that this always seems always a problem? Tell me, why is that always a problem? So now you had the owner come out, say, oh, I didn't pick him. That was Barry. He's the one that picked him. And then you had then he was held out of practice saying, oh, well, he said his arm was sore. And then he was asked on the field saying, no, I'm good. I'm okay. So there's been a lot of discrepancies happening in Cleveland. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio and the video of the owner, Jimmy Haslam, talking about it. And then we're going to break it even down because there's a QB tracker for passes and stuff like that taking place. And he has not only outplayed the other three quarterbacks, at the least, he should be the backup. At the minimum. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to play that, and then we're going to break it down even further, all right? Let's get this thing started.
If you'd have told me, let's say we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shaduer, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shaduer. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Let me say, you know what the problem I have with this? Unprovoked. He didn't have to say this. Everyone's been like, oh my gosh, Shaduer's looking amazing. He is because he wanted Shaduer. I didn't want Shaduer. Totally unprovoked. And that's what I try to say. And this goes back to the Lamar stuff, right? Where all of these guys are lock and step. Lock and step. They march to the same tune. One band, one sound. That's how they operate. And looking and watching this going on with Shaduer is it's so disheartening, right? Because with Lamar, it was, even though all the stats, even though he's led the league in passing touchdowns, even though he's went 41-4, even though he's had supreme passer ratings and all that stuff, some of the greatest of all time, well, he's gotten better at passing, but I wouldn't call him a good passer. What? Same thing's happening with Shaduer. Same exact thing. You think I'm lying or making anything? Look at this real quick. Look at this. Oh. The other day, they even tried him hard, right? They had him with the second and third string players going against the top the number one, like the first team defense, right? And he was still cooking. He still outperformed those other guys. So then you'd be like, he has lesser players doing it against better players, still getting the ball out, still performing. And then after he put that show on, all of a sudden, we're not giving him no reps. Yeah, well, he's not gonna get no reps today. It's and then they want to come out when they heard everybody get loud about because he has arm soreness. How many times have we heard stuff about the NFL being lying about stuff like that? Teams come around, you find out there's nothing wrong with the player. They're saying, hey, you're gonna sit out this one, and they just do what they want to do. This is what you know what mental toughness is? Let me tell you what mental toughness is. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. And I'll show you how I make correlations. Lamar Jackson's a quarterback that never had his father, right? Because his father and his grandmother passed away on the same day. He lost him at a young, I think it was like 6 or 7 years old. He lost his father, somewhere around there. He lost his father. Shaduer's had his father from the beginning to the end. But the one thing they've both had is like Lamar's mom and Deion Sanders, the father for Shaduer, that absolutely poured into each of them and showed them, preached to them that nobody cares when you're hurting or failing. If you want this, you got to give it everything you got and more. You got to be willing to sacrifice time, sweat, blood, sweat, tears, all those things, through the pain, through the suffering. We found out, imagine it coming out that your father has cancer. A horrible form of cancer. That, you're on the stage, like, you're wondering what's going on. Everyone, saying nobody knows about it. And then you're still required to be mentally tough to go in every day acting like nothing's wrong. Nothing. Mind you, Shaduer and them and their brother in Tampa knew everything about this, right? And didn't even make an inclination of anything was going on with the father. Then it comes out that he had, on top of having his toes and stuff like that, amputated and, and all the other stuff that's been wrong with Deion. Now cancer came up and all of the cancer scares, worrying about his father. And the man was still out there producing. No shortness in his step, no lack in his smile, no cutting in his work, nothing. And the man still went out there and did it. That's called mental fortitude. How can I not root for that? On a team like this that knows he's outplaying these other guys. Look how much reps Gabriel has gotten compared to everybody else. He's got almost double the reps of Sanders. And Sanders has more touchdown passes and almost as much completions. We're not even going to bring in Pickett. Kenny P. It's sad to watch. Because it's like the league has agreed that they want to break him. And I'll never be on board for hard workers and stuff like that. People are them trying to make an example out of you. It's almost like buck breaking and stuff. I don't believe in stuff like that. You work your butt off. You earn it. He's earned it. I don't care that he grew up with millions and stuff like that. I don't care that he came out of college being worth millions. That has nothing to do with it. He's busting his tail for every inch, no quarters given. This is why the Browns brown things up. Imagine having a player that is outshining everybody else, not just off the field, but on the field, and you actively trying to hold him back. God literally dropped Shedeur Sanders in your lap, and you're there trying to throw away your blessings. How good you be? Let me tell you this right now. God forbid anything happens to Tua or J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota. If Shaduer ends up on one of those teams, I promise y'all, he is going to go Richter. He is going to prove so many people. People are going to be like, the Browns had him and gave him away. They already gave away Baker. But the Browns are going to be able to have another quarterback. Imagine that. Look what Baker looks like now that he's gone from the Browns. Same thing with the Jets. Look out, Geno Smith and other players have looked once they've left the Jets. They're having career resurgences for all over the NFL with different coaches. Browns are going to brown stuff up, man. It's sad and disheartening, but it is what it is. But shout out to Shaduer. Hopefully that young man can keep going forward, man. Hopefully I get him on the channel too. We'll see. It'll be like an AFC North thing. Try to get a player from each team. We already had, you know what I'm saying? We'll see. See if it works out. But what do you guys think? Do you think that that's right, what the owner came out and said? And do you think that the Browns are being unfair to Shedeur Sanders? And do you think if the Browns get rid of him, what team do you think could get him and flourish? I got 3 off the top of my head. Minnesota, Saints, Miami. But let me know what you think down in the comment section, okay? But as always, that's an episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you for watching. I know we get down. We have fun and we laugh. But everything we talk about, we're doing what? Facts and truth. Please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. Guys, you don't love the comments. If you haven't already done so already, check out The Wunderkind Morning Show live Monday through Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., where we touch on all our topics of sports, and we break down a little bit of nostalgia trivia at the end from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Guys, be there, be square. And for this upcoming week, Tuesday, we got Ing Raven from Ing Raven Vids for the Wunderkind Morning Show. And we also got Cordell Woodland on Wednesday for the Wunderkind Morning Show. And of course, it's going to be a whole bunch of camp, know-how, stuff from behind the scenes. We're going to be talking about be there or be square. All right? But also, if you want to donate to the channel, help out with equipment and stuff like that, Super Chats is there, and so is Patreon. Everyone for Patreon, once the stuff for the merch and everything is up, there will be discounts and stuff like that in there. But also, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a QR code. QR code is to a Cash App. Cash App is located in the description of every video that we do. Name of it is money sign, The Wunderkind Show. Super easy. But that's the episode of The Wunderkind Show. This show is not just signing off, and as always, you know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Huh? Yerp.
Finish him, Daddy.
Ah!